Hello, my name is Karen Hughes, and I'm the Domestic Violence Clinical Services Coordinator for the Life Crisis Center, and I want to welcome you to Life Crisis Today. Today we're going to be talking about the Child Advocacy Center, and with me is Chris Bozick, and she's one of our child therapists. Hello, Chris.
Hello, how are you, Karen?
Good. The Child Advocacy Center, it's been around for a while. Can you tell me a little bit about it and what the history is?
Actually, the Wicomico County Child Advocacy Center is entering its 21st year of operation.
Wow.
And the concept of a Child Advocacy Center was originally developed in 1985 in Alabama when a circuit court judge realized the trauma that families were experiencing when they were dealing with the issues related to child maltreatment. And the concept was to take core agencies and bring them together to develop a team that could help families navigate maltreatment and heal from the trauma that they experience.
And you said Wicomico's been around for 21 years. That's a long time.
Yes, it is. We were looking at some numbers the other day, and we have served upwards of 15,000 children in that time.
Wow. So you said it's a team.
Yes.
Talk about that.
The core agencies that are involved are the state's attorney's office, law enforcement. There are therapists. Life Crisis provides the therapy, and then protective services, child protective services. And there's also a victim advocacy component.
Okay. And are there any procedures or regulations that the Advocacy Center has to follow?
We are housed in the state's attorney's office, so the thing that's so good for families is it's like one stop. It's a team that collaborates to try to help families navigate going through that complicated system when they experience child abuse. That's children exposed to physical or sexual abuse, neglect, families that experience domestic violence, and children that witness the violence. So the team works together to try to help meet that family need.
And are they every county required to have an advocacy center, or how does that work?
Yes, actually the state of Maryland has mandated that every county have a child advocacy center. So Wicomico was ahead of the curve,
definitely.
and the operation really, it's a thing where families, from the initial disclosure through, if there is a court proceeding, they have a team that's helping them work through that process and heal. And then the therapy that we provide, not every family goes to court. There's not always a judicial process, but there's always trauma. And so we are trained specialists and certified to help children and their families work through that trauma.
So it sounds like you said it's a one stop, so they don't have to keep telling their story over and over.
Exactly, because what happens, and research shows this, that children who have to redisclose multiple times, that can be as traumatic for some children as the actual maltreatment they experienced.
Since it is a team, what's the leadership? I mean, is there a leader in the team, or how does the team work?
Well, we're housed in the state's attorney's office, and so there is a leadership team which is comprised of the state's attorney, the executive director of Life Crisis, the police, Salisbury Police, Sheriff's Department, Wicomico Sheriff's Department, and they meet monthly, and they are the leadership of the team.
Okay. And you said our role, the Life Crisis Center's role in therapy.
Right.
Child therapy, can be fun, but it's also based on what the child needs.
One thing that we're able to provide is the specialized evidence-based therapy dealing with people who have experienced trauma. And often, many of the children and families we work with have experienced multiple traumas. And so it's a very complex healing process. we can, the nice thing is for us is because we are grant funded, that we don't do insurance billing, and so we're able to, if someone's already involved in mental health in another agency, we work collaboratively with that agency. So it can be simultaneous.
Right, so
and
they can have it both places.
Correct,
Oh, that's great.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's one thing that you realize the impact of trauma affects every aspect of your life, from who you can trust, how you feel about yourself, how you view the world. So it really is important to get specific treatment for that. And it's not just the victims, it's also family members, because most of the time the child maltreatment is by someone that the child loves, and so it can often be someone that's a trusted family member or someone close to the family, someone in the community that they had some caregiving role with them. And so it has a ripple effect, and so it's really important that we help the whole family work through the healing.
So not just the child that's maltreated, but also everybody in the family, if I guess secondary victims.
Secondary victims. And that also, when they get treatment, it helps the child heal, because the whole family's working together. And they're very difficult situations, so it's really good that they have the support of the Advocacy Center.
Right. Are there any kind of worries or consequences that might get in the way of things?
Well, the situations can be complicated, and so when you're dealing with families, a lot of times if the maltreater is someone that's trusted within the family, that's going to create a lot of complications for the whole family. There can be financial concerns. We've had children express that they didn't tell because they were afraid of the financial impact on the family. And so sometimes that it does affect them financially. If you have one of the breadwinners of the family that is no longer in the family, that has a financial consequence, which should not affect a child being safe.
Right, right.
And one thing that through Life Crisis, we do have programs that can help families, if they're eligible, to get situated in housing through some grant funding. And you have to be eligible, but again, there's so many layers. It's not just the emotional. It can be financial, psychological.
You mentioned court, that sometimes it does go to court.
Yes.
How do we help with that?
So the team works collaboratively, the state's attorney. We work with children to help them know what to expect when they go to court. We will do a court tour. The advocate through the Child Advocacy Center, and she's works as part of Child Protective Services, Patricia. She will take children and their families, and they will look at the courtroom setup just so the child knows where they will be testifying.
So they walk through it.
They do a walkthrough. They do a walkthrough. And then, of course, the state's attorneys meet with the children and the families to help them know what to expect.
Okay.
And the bottom line is for children just to know that what they have to do, it's very hard. It's very traumatic for a child to go in a courtroom and have to testify in front of a jury or a judge, and the offender is there, so that can be very intimidating. But what we always stress is it's your chance to tell the truth. Right. Just tell the truth.
Right. And for therapy, how do the therapists help?
We try to give them emotional support and help them navigate that system, because it is overwhelming. It's overwhelming for adults, and so for a child, it really can be very overwhelming. So we try to help them emotionally be prepared for that.
And do you ever go with the children?
We do. We will go to court with them and be a support. Sometimes children, it just needs someone in the courtroom to just sort of help center them and help them stay grounded to be able to testify.
Yeah. With the workers, I think it takes a special type of person to be able to do this type of work.
It's great you mentioned that, Karen, because I have been amazed at the team at the Child Advocacy Center. They are so dedicated, and it's really really difficult work because their heart has to really be in it, because they see day in and day out, all year long, hundreds of children and families that are experiencing child abuse, and it takes a toll on them. But their dedication, the community should be so grateful that we have such dedicated staff there. We have a new child advocacy coordinator, Cheryl Bissell, and she's doing a great job. We're in our second phase of being credentialed and accredited.
Okay.
So that's a process that we are working through right now. But I'm just amazed at the heart and soul that they give to the job.
Right. It really sounds like they stay focused on the kids.
They do, and that's the whole purpose. It's being child and family centered.
Right. So if they need more help or they need resources, they can always either call the Child Advocacy Center or also the Life Crisis Center's hotline.
Correct. They can call our hotline, 410-749-HELP. They can also make reports if anyone is concerned about a child to the Wycomico County Child Protective Services. Of course, you can call 911, and there is help available. And the thing is, as a community, it's so important. Children are our future, and we have to protect our children. And so it's important for all of us as community members to always keep that in mind.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Chris. You've given us a lot of information and hopefully helped families, if they're going through a struggle like this, that they know that there's a place that they can go.
Hopefully. Yes,
So,
thank you, Karen.
Thank you. And I want to thank you for joining us. And if you have any more questions, you can always call the Life Crisis Center at 410-749-HELP. Again, the number is 410-749-4357. Or our website is www.lifecrisiscenter.org. Thank you. Oh, and thank PAC 14 for making this available today.